Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how to draw a dog portrait using coloured pencils. I start off by sketching in the dark spots in the eye and then go over with terracotta and sanguine and just getting in that nice brown colour in the eye before blending it out. I also use a little bit of my white pencil to get the highlight in on the eye and make sure I don't lose that. I do use the white luminance pencil for that. And then I start sketching out the areas surrounding the eyes. And for the browns, I'm using terracotta, sanguine, and caput mortuum, which is the darker brown. And I'm using short little strokes to get the effect of the fur around the eye. And now, for this section, especially around the eyes, the fur tends to go in all sorts of directions, so do pay attention to your reference photo. It's important to get the fur going in the right direction in that area. It's a good idea to keep a close eye on the reference photo for across the whole portrait, because animal fur tends to go in all sorts of directions and the clumps can change the thickness and stuff, and you just sort of pay attention to what the fur is doing in the photo. I am keeping my layers very light to make sure that I can do multiple layers on top, so that I can keep going back and adding extra layers when I feel that it needs it. I also used a bit of the white luminance pencil along the edge of the white stripe down the center of the dog's face to help define those white fur a bit more. When you see me using the brush, what I'm using is an odorless solvent. I use Spectrum Odourless Solvent, and that just helps to blend out the colours and blend them all together and fill in those white specks in the paper. Now onto that white stripe on the face, I've used cold grey 1 and then also warm grey 1 and 3. Just keeping those strokes light and short to try and get the effect of fur. With white, you don't want to do too much because otherwise you'll get colour where you don't want it, and it's hard to get the white to look white when you've got too much colour on it. Though I will point out that with white fur, it's very rarely actually white. It's a lot of different colours of greys. I find sometimes it's quite hard to blend out the white areas because I don't tend to put as much pigment onto the paper, and I find that it doesn't blend as well. And that is an issue that I have to keep dealing with when I'm doing animals with white fur. It's just a matter of putting layers of the lightest greys that you've got, and also white as well, onto the paper to help it blend better, so you've actually got those layers of pigment down. You'll notice that I used white over the top of black there around the mouth to get that fur to stand out. I find that when you've got something like black down, while the white won't come out as white, you can still make that fur stand out when you want it to be a lighter colour on top of the black. And if the Polychromos white doesn't do it, then you use the white luminance pencil, which is a lot more opaque. And on the side of the face, make sure to get those shadows in the right spots. You see the different lines that go down the side of the face. They actually have a big indication on where the muscles are in the side of the face and the shape of the dog's face. If you don't get those lines and those shadows in the right spots, then the face will look strange. And this is really important when you're working from a photo for a client. You want to make sure that the shape of the face is correct, because they will be the ones to pick that out. And this dog had really nice little dark tips on the ends of his ears, which is really nice to colour those ears in dark. I love the colour of the fur on this dog. Now onto the collar. make sure to get the collar to focus a lot of time on the collar. Don't just skimp on it. The collar is an important accessory to the dog. The owner picked it out, and yeah, it is a part of what makes the animal complete. And it's starting to shade in and block in where the shadowed areas are on the lower part of the dog. And this dog is all white down the bottom, and I'm just trying to get those colours in, those shades, so I know where I'm working on, like the shoulder and everything. I'm using slightly longer strokes in this area, but still fairly short. This dog had short fur all over, so you don't want to do long strokes in this sort of area because it'll then make the dog look fluffy or like it's got longer fur. The fur around like the neck and over the shoulder does tend to be a bit longer than where it is on the face, and it tends to clump a bit more as well. And that is the portrait complete. Now I have an hour-long version of this tutorial over on my Patreon site, so if you're interested in that, pop on over and subscribe to my Patreon. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now.